is episode 6 of Relax, It's Just Cat Grooming. I'm Lynn Paolillo and I am your host, and I'm a certifier and instructor for the National Cat Groomers Institute, and I own a cat-only grooming and boarding business in New Jersey, Catnaps Cattery. So this is the show where I'll be answering your questions about grooming cats and running a successful business doing it. So in today's episode, I'll be talking about 1, can you make money as a cat groomer? 2, what do I do if the cat is wiggly? And 3, why do you shave in reverse? So if you enjoyed today's episode, then make sure to click the notifications button on the National Cat Groomers page so you can get notified when we post new videos and content just like this. So let's dive in. Can you make good money as a cat groomer or cat grooming? Well, the short answer is yes, but the long answer is also yes, but I'm gonna break down for you why you can make a comfortable living grooming cats or adding cats to your existing grooming business, especially compared to dog grooming. So first up, your startup costs are a lot less. Cats take up a much less space for grooming, no large dog runs, no potty patches that you have to walk them, no gigantic animal tubs for bathing. There are some cat groomers that operate in a small room, even the size of a bathroom even, for their grooming. Now, I like a little more elbow room, but that's just me. So you can see here that I renovated my garage to be my grooming space, and honestly I have way more space than I really need, but I also wanted a space that I could do workshops in, so I wanted some additional floor space. I'm actually thinking about moving this space over a bit so I can create a separate filming and photo area right here within my salon space. So this is a 2-car garage and obviously is way more space than I need. I could easily do it in about half the space, even less than that. So with cats, you really kind of don't need very much space to begin with. But say you were renting or renovating to have cat grooming or to open a cat grooming business, the amount of square footage, since it is substantially less than you would need for a dog grooming salon, less space means less everything, less cost of materials, lower rates for labor, less equipment, and then obviously your rental fees are usually based off of square footage. So less space equals less money. So not only are these startup costs lower, but that means lower ongoing costs as well. So shampoos, so I only keep a couple of shampoos on hand. My main degreaser shampoo, like Chubb's Bars, a hypoallergenic shampoo, and a medicated shampoo. And you can also have a flea shampoo, and honestly I have some miscellaneous bits and bobs here and there, but the only ones that I really order, you can actually see here, are my couple of gallons that I have. I got my big stack of Chubb's Bars, and I've got a couple miscellaneous gallons. Most of these are cleaning products, not even shampoos. So you need a lot less for cats than you would for dogs. It's kind of a very stripped down version of what you would need for an average dog grooming salon, but you also need a lot fewer tools than you would for dogs. So obviously clippers, we all need clippers. I have 2. I have my Bravuras and I have my KM cordless. I also have KM10s floating around, but I really only use those. So I have my Bravuras for pretty much everything, and I have my full-size clippers, my KMs, and then I only need 1 or 2 types of blades for each of those clippers. So the Bravuras take the 5-in-1 blade, and I literally have a drawer full of blades, just a drawer full of extra blades, but you really don't need that many. I just accumulate blades, as we all do, but I only need 1 kind for my Bravuras. And then for my KMs, my 10s or my cordless, I only use 10s and 30s. So 10s for all body shaving, 30s for under comb attachments, and that's it. No 4s, 5s, 7s, 9s, 3 3/4, you know, the black blades, the wide blades. I have 1 set of comb attachments, and that's it. And so you don't really need really many blades. I don't use scissors at all, other than my tiny little face scissors that are like this big. If you watch the episode where I did the face trim, That's the only pair of scissors that I use. So all the scissors that I have now were from when I did dogs, and I don't use them. So I don't need all those expensive scissors and shears. So huge gap of a difference in tool prices and how much you would need. Same thing for all of those brushes, combs, hemostats, nail trimmers, nail Dremels, versus for my cat grooming. I'm gonna grab it here. Okay. So my tools for cat grooming, Bravuras, KMs, little tiny face scissors, and my combs. And that's really it. I mean, maybe my air muzzle. All of this can fit in a little tiny bag. Versus dog grooming, I used to have this like rolling cart and additional like bags and boxes everywhere. Tons of stuff. And I don't need all that. So I've got one piece of hair floating around. I don't need all that for grooming cats. So my tool and equipment costs are lower in the long term because I don't have to repair and replace a lot of those smaller pieces of equipment, which can add up in the long term. I mean, all my scissors were anywhere from $100 to $300, and I've got a whole set of them that I used for dogs. That's a lot of money that I did not need to put towards my cat grooming at all. So I don't have to get them sharpened. I don't have to do any of that because I don't use scissors. I don't use scissors on my cats. And that's pretty much it. So everything that I have can really fit in a tiny little bag. It's like my little pouch plus my air muzzle, bada bing, bada boom. So a lot less clippers, tools, combs, brushes, things like that. That adds up to big savings for not having to spend that money on dog stuff. And then I will say something that does kind of break my heart a little bit is that I don't get to pick out all those different bows and bandanas and ribbons and accessories and stuff because I don't use them on my cats. I don't like the little rubber bands because I don't want my cats to go home and eat them, and I don't put stuff in their hair, and a lot of them don't wear collars. So I don't buy any of those things. And even though kind of breaks my heart a little bit, it can get pricey. Like, let's face it, we try to buy all this fun stuff for our clients. It can add up, which means the nice brands that have really fancy products, like I, just drool over Bardell bows, Milena and Jameson with their DMK boutique has gorgeous accessories, all types of really cool stuff. I love them. I just do not use them. And so that saves me a good bit of money so I don't have to spend those additional kind of chunks of money for each holiday, bringing in new patterns, all that stuff I don't have to do. So now that we've established that the money going out each month is substantially lower, the other piece of the equation is the money coming in, your prices. So now I'm going to go more in depth on how to price cat grooming services in a future episode, since I've already kind of been rambling a little bit. But for now, I just want to talk about why your cat prices should be higher than when you do a dog for the same time period. First of all, this is a specialized service. Not everyone can groom cats, and even fewer can groom cats really well. So clients are paying a premium for something only you can do. Clients seek me out and drive a good distance because I'm the expert. I'm a Certified Feline Master Groomer, and they want the best for their kitties. Also, I get a lot of cats that weren't able to be groomed by another salon near me, so they refer them my way. I also have other salons that refer all their cats to me, and then I also have salons that refer specific cats to me, usually Persians, Siberians, Norwegian forest cats, like the very kind of purebred cats, because their clients are looking for something very particular, and they know that they're not an expert, whereas I am an expert. So being an expert and offering a premium service comes with a premium price. So that is going to be a higher price. So obviously the risk of cat grooming is higher. The risk of infection for bites, knock on wood. I can't really remember the last time I've been bitten. Now that I say that, I'll probably get bit next week, but I don't normally get bitten very often. But if you don't know what you're doing, it can appear like there's a much higher risk if you don't understand cat body language and know how to prevent those things from happening. I prefer working with the cat instead of fighting against the cat, so that kind of plays into it too. But overall, the risk is higher. The risk of injury to the animal is higher since cats move around, their skin is much more delicate, they're thinner generally. Not all cats, some are a little chunky. And then there's a higher risk of infection if I do get bitten or badly scratched. So there is a higher risk involved, which should mean that prices go up. And also the investment that I've made towards my training and my certification to CFMG is higher. So I'm going to calculate those investments into my prices as well. Finally, I create a salon space and an environment that is specifically for cats. I don't use it also for dogs. I have specific, how I schedule, how I lay everything out is made so that I can make sure that I have the highest possibility of successful, pleasant grooms for the majority of cats that come my way. I want grooms to be successful. I want cats to be happy. So that means that I change a lot of things in my salon, in my scheduling. And because I'm doing that and I'm creating this special space just for them, even though it makes my life easier, it comes at a price for my clients because this is very specific for them. It's kind of like if you look at a salon that can kind of take a lot of different clients, a lot of different pets versus a mobile where you're doing one pet at a time, you're bringing it to them. That convenience and that environment is different and specific to them. And so the price should reflect that. So my clients know this, it is all over my website, and my clients are happy to pay those higher prices because they know they're getting a good value with my services. So I'm not worried about higher prices. So if you want to look at my prices, you can go catnapscattery.com/grooming, and all my prices are on my website. I'm kind of big on transparency with my clients, so it is all laid out right there for you. Finally, another thing I want you to keep in mind is the longevity of cat grooming as a career versus dog grooming. So dog grooming is hard on your body. I know it's hard because I was a dog groomer. We literally beat ourselves up dealing with dogs almost as big as we are. And even if they're not so big, they could be pulling on the leash, they could be jerking us around, they could be turning around trying to bite us. We have to hunch over those big tubs and tables for hours at a time. We're on our feet all the time. We're breathing in all that gross stuff from the drying process, clipping and dremeling, all that stuff is getting up all in there. Certainly not very good on our bodies. So with cats, I'm not doing any of those things. None of those things. Which even the biggest cat that I've ever groomed was like 25 pounds. 25 pounds, that's it. Most of my cat clients are in the like 10 to 15, maybe 18 pound range, which is great because most dog groomers, that is not the majority of their clientele. Now, I do know that there are a lot that move their clientele to be focused on small dogs or they cut out the difficult dogs. But honestly, by the time we do that, it's too late. We've already wreaked havoc and battered our bodies into numerous health conditions. So not exciting and not a long-term investment in ourselves. Versus cats, we have a lot more options to keep grooming if we want. As long as we want. I know cat groomers who are comfortably grooming even into their 60s and beyond, versus I have to keep grooming because I have no other option and I'm just continuing to batter my body. I don't want you guys to do that. I want you to have great, energy with the cats. I want you to make sure your cats are happy. And then honestly, once you've been grooming cats for a little while and you've established your clientele, you don't have to take those more challenging cats either. Like that's where you can kind of start weeding them out, or you can just not take them in the beginning. So I still take some challenging cats, but my whole goal is to kind of rehabilitate them to do better with the grooming process. And so that means that I'm doing fewer clients because I get them on better schedules, which means a more stable income for me, and it just works out much better. So as far as what you can make as a cat groomer, it ranges wildly. I am super part-time because I also still work for the National Cat Groomers, and I also do boarding for my clients here. And I'm working on some other kind of miscellaneous projects. So I don't have a full day to dedicate to grooming, 4 or 5 times a week. So I really stop grooming by about 12 most days. Some days I don't take grooms at all because I have a project happening. So for me, being super part-time obviously means that I can't take as many cats, and also means I'm a little pickier with my cats, and I really try to push regular schedules more often for my clients, which most cats and most owners really respond well to those suggestions. But so I'm just finishing up my first year of business with Catnaps Cattery. So like I said, it's just me. I have no employees. I work very part-time, and I can do, so many cats a day. I have to be finished by about 12:30. And then I have 4 boarding suites. So in my first year of business, we will kind of hit about 40,000 in revenue by the end of this month, I think. So I'm really happy with it, considering, like I said, it's very part-time, and the first couple months were obviously much quieter. Boarding didn't pick up until about 4 or 5 months in, but now I'm really happy with where everything is, and my average grooming price is kind of closer to about $80-85 per cat, and then boarding tickets are obviously usually higher. Most of my cat boarders are just coming for about a week or so, so that works out really well. So I'm really happy with where I am. I'm on a good trajectory to do a good bit more than that next year, since each month has just been growing and growing and growing. And most of my cat groomer friends that have shared figures with me for just grooming salons, they're easily making 5, 6, 10,000 a month in revenue, not doing any boarding at all. I've known several, one of my friends, I don't want to share because I don't know if she wants to share with everybody, they just they're about to hit 100,000 for the year in revenue. So they're really excited about that, with a cat-only grooming salon, no additional services. And then another friend of mine does about 70 to 80 in grooming, and then another 70 to 80 in boarding, cat-only. And those are just a handful of people that I know personally who have shared some figures with me. So now obviously this doesn't take their expenses into consideration, but these are all different places. And those are probably some lower numbers, just because I don't want to kind of overinflate them for you. If you can groom, 3, 5, 8 cats a day, depending on your environment, then obviously the numbers will vary. But I do believe that cat grooming prices should be higher than your average dog grooming price in the area, like all the reasons I mentioned. But I do think that it's out there, and you definitely can make good money as a cat groomer. What I find is your focus in terms of your expenses tends to be very different from a dog groomer. With dog grooming, I focused more on my tools, my equipment, my little extras that I did, things like that, where I'm not doing all those things for cat grooming. So in my cat grooming business, it was more about the initial investment in my training to become certified, to really work on that. And then I'm also putting more into the reach of my advertising, because once people know that I'm here, tons of people call and come. The problem is just getting my business in front of people who need this type of service, which is a very different thing than dog grooming, because a lot of dog grooming clients already know their dog needs to go to the groomer, whereas cats, they tend to look at like, oh, my cat is having hairball problems. Like I just had a client yesterday, I talked for 20 minutes on the phone. Older cat, just had emergency hairball blockage surgery and had never had any problems before that. So now the vet is like, we need to figure something else out. So that's where she started looking for information online, and that's where she found me. So very different searches than for just a dog groomer. So I find that I tend to put a little bit more thought into my advertising and my referral and my networking than necessarily just dog grooming, other than just trying to not get lost in the crowd. But obviously cat grooming stands out, so I just have to get in front of more people. That's fine. So that was a bit of a ramble. Sorry about that. But I want to move on to the second question that I want to cover in today's episode, which is what to do if the cat is wiggly. So for me, wiggly cats fall into 2 temperament types. Either they are shy, So by wiggly, it means they're nervous and squirmy, and they're usually small, maybe former rescue or foster kitties, or they just didn't have a really great socialization period when they were younger, so they're still kind of nervous Nellies as adults. With this type, I make sure that what I do is slow. I introduce things as quietly as possible. I can very considerate with my handling. I want to limit their means of exits. So having them on a table that faces into a corner, using my Caddyshack bag, or having them on my lap is a big help. So I want to make sure that I'm limiting where they can kind of run away and hide. I have to almost help them face their fears a little bit, to see that it's not scary, nothing hurts, everything's fine, in order for them to kind of breach that really nervousness. Also, I do sometimes want to give them a way to hide, which usually means hiding their head. So this can be under a towel, using the slight pressure of a happy hoodie, an e-collar, or even an air muzzle can kind of make them feel hidden without the cat having to be totally scrunched up in a ball and I'm trying to like work its legs out and not knowing if the cat may try to nip at me. So the other type of wiggly cat is I would have them fall under aggressive cats, because these guys are not nervous and wiggling. It's that they're trying to kick away. They're trying to kick and fling a leg out. They're hissing, they're growling, they're trying to bite. They're literally trying to get you off of them. So with this type of mover and shaker, I'm going to take a very different approach. And the thing with them is I want to keep them firmly under control, and I get through the groom as quickly and safely as possible to keep from pissing them off too much. So this doesn't mean that I'm manhandling them or I'm just having a second person strap them down, and hold onto them for an extended period of time. I work solo, and I found that I have to be thoughtful and confident with every position, every movement, so that the cat and I are working together. We're not wrestling against one another. So for both of those types of cats, so that shy, nervous Nelly and the aggressive, get off me, stop touching me type of cat, I do a lot of them in my lap. I can manage them much easier, and I have a full range of movement with each cat. If I'm worried about getting bit, I will go ahead and use an air muzzle. If there's any rear leg bunny kicking, then while they're in my lap, I can use my lap and my legs to support the back half without letting them scratch and get all crazy with me. I talked about a lot of tips for solo handling in a previous episode of Relax, It's Just Cat Grooming, so make sure to check that out. Plus, the National Cat Groomers has a book called Handling Techniques for the Cat Groomer that has a ton of different positions and movements for you to give you a variety of positions, so that you can kind of pick and choose and customize each groom for each cat. So those are my tips on wiggly cats. So finally, why do you shave in reverse? This is kind of a quick question because I feel like we've answered this like on National Cat Groomers. I know we've got blog posts and stuff on it, on crispy leg lines and reverse shaving, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. We shave cats in reverse with a number 10 blade because we found that the number 10 blade is the safest blade on delicate, thin cat skin. And as long as the skin is smooth and stretch taut, you will have no problems shaving in reverse or forward. So we shave in reverse. So reverse means going against the growth of the hair in that spot. And so cats have a lot of cowlicks and the hair grows in different directions. So if I was going to go with the growth of the hair kind of all over their, just kind of like a dog would, if I was grooming a dog, then I would have these areas that were really uneven and really patchy, and when the cat's skin moves, it would look like these big tufts sticking out. So instead, I want to go against the direction of the growth no matter where I am on the body. So I have to really pay attention to how the hair is growing in each section to make sure that I'm holding it taut and I'm going against the growth. This is going to give me a velvet, smooth, crisp, clean, shaved areas. Oh my God, it looks so good. So I do my shaving in reverse for everything, sanitary trims, belly shaves, and full line cuts. I've never had a problem, have been doing it for years, and obviously Danelle, National Cat Groomers president, has been doing it for over 2 decades without any problems. Whether it's hair growing back or risk of nicking the skin, we do reverse shaves all the time. That's what we teach our students. So we have literally shaved probably tens of thousands of cats at this point. Yeah, easily tens of thousands of cats in reverse without problems. So if we can do it, as long as you're following the guidelines that we put down in our syllabus program, which is the skin is nice and smooth, it's nice and taut, you're kind of holding the skin, and you're holding the clipper in a very specific way to make sure it's nice and flat with the cutting blade, you will not have any problems. Nice and smooth, nice and crisp. Everything looks amazing. Oh my gosh, you just get your 10 blade and you're just like, that, bzzzt, oh, it looks so good, right? It looks so good. So anyway, that is gonna wrap up today's episode of Relax, It's Just Cat Grooming. If you have any questions or comments, please add them below. And if you have a specific question that you would like us to see addressed on a future episode, you can either put it below in the comments or you can email me at lynn@nationalcatgroomers.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.